Alright guys, today we're going to talk about the update that was released today with a shit ton of changes to bug fixes and whatnot. To read a couple of them, they fixed the vassalization issue with Yuan Shao more in depth. We look at a lot of the AI problems that were very cheesable were fixed. So some of the highlights: this update addresses a number of areas, many of which have been reported by players. Some major areas to focus include stability, many battle AI fixes, further tweaks to vassalization, improved tutorialization, so that's tutorials for all the new players out there, improved UI with key tooltips. For example, food breakdown. They added a whole food breakdown info screen because there wasn't one before, and I know that food was something that was very underexplained. Babies. The babes are now more likely to be born from marriages. UI can now be scaled up to 200% for 1440p, 2K resolution for the people that need it. Mousing over settlements names no longer causes performance stutter in the campaign map, which is good, because a lot of people were running into that, including myself, which would cause the whole game to stutter. From what I've seen though, it seems to be fixed. Some other patch notes: they fix a lot of the achievements that would now trigger correctly, including faction death no longer reports a campaign victory achievement. Execute captives achievement now triggers correctly, and much more. Animation: units should not now play their combat idle animation before withdrawing their weapon. And strategists now draw their swords at an appropriate time. Now to the combat balances, which I'm sure a lot of you guys were waiting for. Hidden axes, ammo reduced from 10 to 5. So they're not going to be more of a ranged unit anymore. I mean, they're going to have ammunition, but they're going to be more like blasting mines, blasting charges from Warhammer 2 for the dwarves. Hit points increased by 20% for the following units: Archery Masters, Onyx Dragons, Thunders of Geonon, Defenders of Earth, and Yu Marksmen. Hit points increased by 10% for the following ranged units: Heavy Crossbowmen, Heavy Repeating Crossbowmen, Fury of Bay High, Mercenary Archers, Yi Archers, Men of the Forest, and Watchmen of the Peace. And now crossbowmen are kind of a random unit for me, personally. I know they have shields, but it doesn't seem that the shields really do anything, honestly, compared to normal shield infantry. I don't know if that's a bug or not. Change massive medium infantry from 100 to 110, which would help with being run over by charges, especially the generals. When they charge, they take out like half a unit in one sweep. Cavalry in general, including characters, deal less collision damage, so that was just mentioned. They're not going to take out a whole unit anymore. Not a whole unit, but that's a little bit of an exaggeration. But they take out a decent amount. They run over like 20 guys and then they can't get up anymore. And I don't know if that's realistic or not. Sentinels with certain relationships could achieve over 100% melee evasion. So I'm sure in campaign a lot of you guys have seen the enraged characters and how they could basically one-shot once they're in that state, which was ridiculous, and they wouldn't take any damage too. So they seem to fix that so they're not so overpowered, because Sentinels had that melee evasion buff whenever someone died and it was basically unbeatable. Zhongfei and Changyan's armor no longer grants fatigue immunity to their entire retinue, only themselves. Improved He Yi and Huang Shao's background trait effects to be more in line with their specialties and gameplay focuses. Now, another important thing was the battle AI for the AI controlled factions. They seemed pretty cheesy. People could cheese them pretty hard. AI controlled characters should no longer go idle in front of an arrow tower. Pretty self-explanatory, that shouldn't happen. In settlement battles, the defending AI will now target vulnerable missiles and units over players' generals. Which, I don't know, I mean, I don't know why an archer tower would target missile units instead of heavy value infantry units. I mean, I guess because of the shield, whatever. In settlement battles, the defending AI will now target vulnerable missile units. AI armies awaiting reinforcements should now no longer stand idle under ranged fire. Pretty explanatory, that was pretty cheesy. AI reinforcements in resource battles should now engage the player's army more effectively, which I've seen that firsthand. They would kind of just walk in one huge blob and pretty much get nuked by the arrow towers or whatever archery units they would have. Attacking AI armies in siege without battering rams will now more readily commit to scaling the walls as well as exploiting breaches, so they're not going to wait for trebuchets or whatnot to break down the wall. They're going to actually climb the walls, go through the holes that were made in the walls through hero actions or whatnot. Extreme unit sizes for whoever uses them now act more decisively when assaulting walls. AI armies defending small settlements should no longer sit idle in a settlement while the player outside forcing draw. More cheese. AI trebuchets will now use flaming shot against the infantry. Archers on walls react more decisively to threats and are less likely to break position, particularly at the battle outset. Improved AI performance and pathfinding on the rice paddy map. AI calves should now act more decisively and are less likely to break off while charging, and they're less likely to charge into a retinue of halberds or spearmen, which would basically result in their death. What else here? AI decision making improved over whether to assault gates by hand. That's another big thing. They would kind of just rush the gates and not climb the walls. Battle UI, they fixed some battle UI instances. When a battle is paused in cinematic mode, the pause icon no longer displays. Makes for much better for screenshots. Campaign. The Emperor's seat is now correctly moved when a capital is moved. I know that's what happened to me in my Yellow Turban campaign. I moved my capital thinking it would move the Emperor's seat, but it didn't, and I was stuck with a vulnerable Emperor's seat in the middle of nowhere, with nothing to guard it except for one measly peasant army and the garrison. More animation variants will now trigger for delegated battles. Harmony and disharmony no longer affect characters who have not yet come of age, all the kids in the game. AI factions should now no longer declare emperorship as a result of the player moving their capital. Campaign balance. Lu Bu is now more expensive. I know he was like 700 something before the patch, so who knows what he is now, but he's insanely overpowered, which is understandable. Babies are now more likely to be born from marriages. People are going to be making more babes. Dongzhou's intimidation resource now decays more slowly, which is important. Huangshao and Heyi's people and power bonuses are now applied correctly, which is good. Campaign events. When Gongdu annexes Wudu town settlement in turn 1, the Dongzhou abdication event will no longer automatically trigger, so he's not going to die every time you play as Gongdu. Dongzhou will no longer declare himself emperor as a result of Liu Bei capturing his first Yellow Turban settlement. I don't think I've ever seen that bug, but... Alright. And clicking the zoom button on a campaign map dilemma involving a destroyed character or faction will no longer transition the camera to a blank off-map area. That is pretty much the gist of it. Court changes, high-ranking court positions. Yellow Turban factions now correctly display their effect bundle bonuses. Diplomacy. AI factions are less likely inclined to accept vassalage, which is important. No more memed Yuan Shao. They're less likely to vassalize additional factions if they already have a large number of vassals. Hint. Improved display of positive and negative attitude breakdowns. Yuan Shu's demand subservience option now works correctly. Deal evaluation numbers for voters are now displayed when AI factions request to join a coalition. Tooltips no longer obscure the faction list. Faction lists should no longer request military support against factions you're already at war with. There's a bunch of other ones that are pretty minor. Ink animations for signing deals now trigger correctly. AI units now more reliably issues ultimatums against the player. An alliance war where your allies have been destroyed is now possible to negotiate peace with the enemy alliance. Multiplayer. Spectators can now no longer meddle with duels and MP matches, hands off. Improved MP battle lobby filtering, stability, 24 individual crash scenarios have been found and fixed. So basically, a shit ton of stuff has been fixed. And I know they were trying to roll out the Blood and Gore pack for today, but they didn't. They have to wait till Thursday, which is fine. And one of the other issues I personally have, as I think, I mean, when you play Total War Warhammer 1, there's a huge health bar for your units, so you could easily see if they're getting damaged or not. But in this game, it's a lot smaller for sure, but I think they should change that, make it a little bit bigger, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think of the bug fixes and the changes and the balance issues in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more info. I'm gonna have a Ma Tong campaign up as he becomes the vassal of the Dong, which should be definitely a different playthrough scenario for sure. But let me know, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.